The internet and social media have taken the world by storm ever since the advent of home and public computers in the late 1990s. The technology and capabilities of what was virtually possible increased at a rapid pace, and modern culture rapidly changed in response. The best paradigm seen of this occurring is the reciprocal relationship between the reality-bending computer technologies and human affinity for unnatural perfection and control. Author of the book 10 Arguments for Deleting Your Social Media Accounts Right Now, Jaron Lanier argues that people should discontinue the use of social media because of the use of swarms of false identities, known as bots, that manipulate users into following the direction of online traffic that is controlled by bad actors. Although the point Lanier makes regarding the internet being a breeding ground for false perceptions through the manipulation of online traffic, especially for product advertisement, is accurate, the scope of the artificial natures of the internet is not fully realized in the argument called Social Media is Undermining Truth in Lanier's book. It is evident that due to the quickly evolving internet culture and innovations in technology, fabrication on the internet is becoming more difficult to evade in all aspects of the virtual world, insidiously permeating and altering the minds of users deeper than traffic manipulations from bots do. For starters, the concept of a bot has been expanded through the use of what is known as a deepfake. Cyber researcher Hannah Smith and Australian senior public policy advisor Catherine Mansted's article Weaponized Deepfakes describes deepfakes as a machine learning technology that is similar in presentation to CGI animations. Though deepfakes are used to forge a person's voice, appearance, or human-generated content. The technological advancement has many practical uses like medical research and developing healthcare infrastructure, but instead the most common use for this technology is pornography, as an estimated 90% of deepfakes in existence are pornographic, with many being non-consensual pornography, which is done by putting someone else's face on another person's body. With already limited legislation surrounding the creation and distribution of non-consensual pornography, the issue of revenge porn, creating non-consensual pornographic deepfakes can ruin lives and reputations. But the list of life-tarnishing crimes that can be committed with deepfakes is extensive, ranging from extortion to parading government propaganda or spreading misinformation that is difficult to detect because of the technology's ability to mimic real people. The ability to create or virtually recreate people makes issues concerning identity theft online much more complex than initially thought. The potential for financial fraud among civilians to disseminate inaccurate information through identity theft of public figures makes it abundantly clear that deepfakes pose a real threat to anyone online, and falling victim to them will only worsen as the technology continues to develop. But recreations of people on social media are not the only type of artificial human-like entity online that is made to influence social media users. With incessantly developing technical capabilities online, there has also been the advent of CGI influencers. CGI influencer is described as a three-dimensional animated character made to simulate real people. The technology is different from deepfakes, as all of the aspects of the character are controlled by real people rather than machine learning. These influencers are also used under different contexts than deepfake technology. CGI influencers are used by brands because they always want to have that edge over the competitors in the market. And the best way to compete with other real influencer brands like Kylie Jenner and Bella Hadid is to have complete control over influencers' speech, content, expression, and luring its targeting customers into that hypnotic zone wherein rational thinking gives way to impulsive buying behavior. Founder of Sidequick Jeremy Hale writes in his article, "What are the ethical implications of CGI influencers promoting brands?" Unfortunately, this form of monetization off of social platforms can be quite effective due to the CGI characters being able to accurately capture humanness online, like the Instagram character Lil Miquela, who is the most followed virtual celebrity among her top 25 most followed human counterparts, such as the likes of Kanye West and Donald Trump. The reason for this being unfortunate is that many brands that create CGIs attempt to simulate real people so accurately that online users are often unaware that one of the influencers they follow are being created by a code. Therefore, many people have created a parasocial relationship with what they may believe to be a real person, but in actuality is merely a company that has influenced customers' self-perception of online culture and interaction and consumer habits through the use of an interaction-based animation. Unsurprisingly, though, users have integrated themselves into the culture of fabrication that is found in the virtual world. University of Warwick's lifestyle writer Tarci discusses the prevalence of photo editing among social media users in her article, The Dangers of Photo Editing in a Social Media Obsessed World. Because social platforms are inherently visual mediums of communication, it causes people to fixate on their own appearances and are bound to establish influencers, real and fake ones, as social reference groups, creating a need for users to look as flawless as possible. Edkins writes that Photoshop and Facetune are leading the way for unrealistic beauty standards and are therefore partly to blame for the growing epidemic of body dysmorphia and mental health issues among young people today. Looking attractive online is about validation, and it is a large part of the social exchange that occurs through the virtual reality of social platforms. Popular social media influencers and brands take advantage of innate human inclination toward attractive people. A group of sociologists published an article titled Physical Attractiveness, Opportunity, and Success in Everyday Exchange in the American Journal of Sociology, where they explore everyday advantages that come with being physically attractive. Having the trait is known to have particular influence in labor exchange and in sexual exchange, but the researchers found that personal attributes such as physical attractiveness could affect any and all of the ways that one person is likely to interact with another person. The data showed that more attractive individuals were more likely to receive social engagement from test subjects, and this principle of advantageousness from attractiveness is commonly called the halo effect and is extremely applicable to interactions between social media users. Advantage from attractiveness is why many influencers use photo editing apps extensively without disclosing that photos are altered. Some that are infamously known for doing this are all of the Kardashian Jenners, so that they can garner as much online interaction because it provided them with the most profit. As profits are maximized by influencers by digitally altering photos, it is at the expense of their followers' well-being, as users will try to fit in with the wrongly established parasocial peer group by wanting to achieve a beauty standard that is not naturally feasible, thus creating a cause of cognitive dissonance for users. One other way that internet culture qualifies the general art of falsification is through the prevalence of photo editing and real-life body modification, which are all undisclosed to audiences to create a certain look that is racially ambiguous to collect more interaction online. An example that has been pervasive within the last 5 years is blackfishing. Wesley Stevens defines the phenomenon as white celebrities and influencers altering physical appearances through physical and digital means, adopting certain terms and linguistic patterns associated with ebonics, and the endorsement or selling of products that replicate urban aesthetics, the most modern form of appropriation of African American culture today. Stevens explains that the occurrence of blackfishing on social media platforms like Instagram have arisen for many reasons, which range from American capitalist sentiment, historical exploitation of minorities, to attention-seeking behavior online in the name of profit and appealing to larger lower-class audiences. Oftentimes, influencers that practice blackfishing, like pop singer Ariana Grande, are called out for their appropriation, but they continue to dominate pop culture, as Ariana Grande is still one of the most successful singers in the world. Fabricated racial ambiguity by means of appropriation of minority cultures in the name of clout has very obvious, cumbersome implications given the world's malignant history with racism and minority exploitation. In any case, to the extent at which there are indistinguishable features and functions on the online sphere, it is apparent that inauthenticity is a very prevalent problem when it comes to social platforms, and it can be detrimental to the integrity of users' minds whether they realize it or not. So while it is important to acknowledge how manipulated online traffic from bots can control what we see online, like Lanier hypothesizes, it is important to recognize that falsehood on the internet is not limited to bad actors. In a way, virtual culture stemming from users facilitates falsehood through the indulgence of technologies that are made to fabricate online experiences. Regardless, unauthenticated interactions online set steady grounds for deletion of social platforms to maintain a sense of reality and personal integrity for its users.